Have you ever been so thirsty and then you drank some cold water and you like almost felt it in your veins like go everywhere? The breath, it will do the same thing. If you're deprived of oxygen, which could be as simple as push all your air out and then hold your breath out. Wait 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds. Eventually you're going to really want an inhale. You take an inhale after that and that oxygen becomes like the cold water when you're thirsty. And you'll feel it go everywhere, starting from where it's the heart-chest area, the lungs. Right? So you'll feel it percolate into the vascular system, and then from the vascular system you'll feel it penetrate into the cells. The cell membrane just lets it diffuse in there. And so you'll feel cells wake up. So that's very deep physiology. It can be as simple as taking a fuller breath, which is a mechanical thing. Let me get my clutter out of the way. Let me let go of the muscles that are inhibiting that. Let me loosen the muscles that will help me expand my chest more. And then you do it. And there's a deeper breath. I'm telling you all of this other stuff because then something else is going to happen. When you start getting a richer breath, you're going to start waking up dormant parts of the body. When you wake up dormant parts of the body, then you'll wake up associations that are to those parts of the body. When the nerves wake up in, let's say, a part of the hip, or the groin, or the chest, or the back, or the neck, and there were blockages there, you took a rich breath, the vascular system dilated because 20, 30, 40, 50 years of your life you've never done this with your breath, and so that vascular system is never dilated, except maybe once when you were riding your bike 100 miles and you were too exercisey to even notice the sensitivity of that. But now we're sitting still, and so you'll notice a little deviation in your nervous system, the smallest deviation that you wouldn't notice if you were exercising because it's so aggressive. There's so much happening, but it's hard to notice what's internally going on. So here we're just sitting still or laying on our back when we do the breathing. And so you'll notice something will wake up in the body. And it's important to know that there's a picture associated with that, and there's something you're telling yourself associated with that. And there's an autopilot response happening to the picture in the statement. And self-mastery will come in knowing that you're none of those things because you're observing them all. You cannot be what you're observing because you're looking at it. You're the observer. And so when you see your body respond to the stimulation of the sensation or the picture that you're holding, the movie in your mind or the tape recorder statement in your mind, that's the first step to changing them. You can't change them until you see them first. And you might not want to change them. You might like what you see. It might be a fond memory that you had forgotten and buried and just got covered up. And all of a sudden you remember when you were 12 years old and your friend came over with a pie or something. And you're like, oh man. And then you'll remember, I should call Mary and see where she's at in life. Like that'll happen. And that's a really wonderful thing. So there's positives to it too. The mind is different from the brain. But they influence each other. It's undeniable because mechanically, if you sit in an uncomfortable airplane seat, your mind changes. But if you sit in an uncomfortable airplane seat and do yoga breathing, your mind changes. So it wasn't so much the seat, it was the seat created a situation where your breath changed. And so there's the most direct and obvious correlation to mind is your breath. And breath might be inhibited by your posture, but when you learn subtle nuances, it is possible to access. It just might take longer.